Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts, and today we're talking about Fruits Basket episode 13, How Have You Been, My Brother? And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the episode, and we start on a big yikes. That's all I wrote for this part, is big yikes before the OP kicked in, because if I were Toru and I were just, sauntering along, and then all of a sudden I found clothes in the middle of the trail. I mean, she's aware of the whole Soma family thing, but imagine if you didn't know that and there were just clothes in the middle of the trail, and then all of a sudden something crawls into your pant leg, it crawls under your clothes, and then you find out it's a snake. I can only imagine a certain AnyTuber friend of mine who must have had a big reaction to that. Just a snake crawling under your clothes, and then it turns out to be a dude. And said dude is, of course, a member of the Soma household. Now, I didn't know at first that it was going to be anybody's brother. I didn't even really think about the episode title until after they established who this character was, and it turns out it's Aya, or Ayame, who is, of course, Yuki's brother. That was a surprise, because when as soon as we see his full character, as soon as they introduce who this character is, what he looks like, that's when it's revealed all immediately that this is Yuki's brother. I didn't see that coming. I didn't even really connect that Yuki would have a brother. Even after watching the ED, I'm kind of shocked, or especially after watching the ED, rather, I'm shocked that I never connected the fact that Yuki had a brother, because the only person to look at Yuki when the whole Soma crew is walking past the house, the only person who really stops to turn and look at Yuki is a character with long white hair. Oh gee, I wonder who that could have been. I don't know how I didn't see that coming. But nevertheless, it still surprised me. I didn't see that coming. I was shocked. So not only was I shocked by the fact that Yuki has a brother, an older brother, but I was also shocked by just how different he is. The two are polar opposites. Yuki's very he's quiet, he's restrained, he's sort of got the serene air to him, whereas Ayame is a lot. A lot is the best way I could put it. Ayame is a lot. The man is a lot to handle. He is a bundle of joy, and I like him already, but he's just a lot all at once, and I wasn't really expecting it. I feel like the Somas, and see, this is another interesting thing, right? I wrote this down in my notes, and I am jumping ahead, but I do think that it's funny to me how quickly everybody gets it when they meet Toru. As soon as they meet Toru, they're just oh, okay, I get it. The only person who hasn't had that okay, I get it moment is Akito, ironically enough, because, he sucks. I love how much I can't stand his character. It's good character writing, the fact that anytime he is mentioned, because he is mentioned in this episode very quickly, but as soon as he's mentioned, I was ugh, I just felt it. I was I hate him. But just seeing Ayame, who I keep wanting to call Aya, but I don't know him like that. But Ayame, just seeing how quickly he's okay, I get it. I get why it's her. I get why everybody likes this girl. And it's funny because everybody gets it, but they get it in different ways, right? So when Ayame gets it, what he gets is he gets why everybody likes Toru, but he sees it as she's like Hattori, who is in this episode. Hattori is becoming, Shigure, you my boy, that husbando status is being challenged. But Hattori does make a very brief appearance in this. I want to see more Hattori. When do we get to see more Hattori? Don't answer that. That's a spoiler. But every time he shows up, I'm yes! And then he's only in this briefly, and I'm aww. I will say though, Ayame totally steals the show. Steals the episode. He is so fun. I feel and I don't know what this says about me, but I was yeah. When I noticed the dynamic, which is very real, by the way. when I notice the dynamic between Yuki and Ayame, even though my brother's nothing like Yuki, I do sort of feel like Ayame to an extent. Now, me and my brother are very, like, we're very close. Like, me and my brother are real cool. And so but I do get where he's coming from, because like as a kid, like when we were growing up, me and my brother hated each other. Not like hated, but like, you know, the sibling rivalry. I was older, he was younger. So I do I really get where Ayame's coming from. Like that, maybe not to the extent where like my brother, like Yuki, like my brother and I hung out and played outside. Yuki and Ayame, not quite the same. Ayame got to play outside. Yuki, not so much. But I do get the whole dynamic of growing older and realizing like how goofy this, like how ridiculous some of the decisions you made as a kid were, and how you want to fix that. You want to fix that rift. And that sometimes that happens. Me and my brother, we are a good example of that. But sometimes that doesn't happen. I know friends of mine who aren't as close with their siblings, or people who, or just friends, just people in general who just aren't that close with their siblings. And it's sad, but it's real and it's raw. And I don't know. I'm really like that kind of got me. Ayame, I already kind of, I don't know. I see a lot of myself in Ayame, which worries me. I do want to quickly point out too there's two things that I want to point out before I wrap up today's video, and this video might prove to be a little bit shorter than usual, but it's only because like for the most part the episode kind of speaks for itself. It's the Ayame episode. It's funny and crazy and zany, but a little bit emotional, and you could pretty much sum up, I feel like, most episodes like that. But the Ayame episode in particular felt like that. It was just, you could sum it up really easily. It's just the character for the whole episode. But I adored seeing into the past with Ayame, and I wish we saw younger Shigure more, but a younger Hattori as well. And that line of like, "I'm a bottom!" I was like, oh, that's not something you shout. I'm asexual, so I don't know, maybe people shout that kind of stuff all the time. But I loved that. I thought it was really funny, and I did notice we got a new ship on the horizon, my friends. Ayame and Hattori. The ship is strong. Ayame is just a ball of energy, and he's bouncing off the walls, but as soon as Hattori walks in, he stops. And what does he see in Toru? He sees Hattori, which I find fascinating. I just immediately was like, oh, this is a ship right here. This is that good ship right here. This is what I'm about. And I'm kind of torn, because again, I'm like, but it should be Hattori and me. But at the same time, I really ship this. Maybe, you know what, when it comes to fictional characters, and some of you guys are gonna be like, what? When it comes to fictional characters, it's all polyamorous, man. Like I'll ship these two, but I also ship me with Hattori and me with Shigure, and just deal with it. But but speaking of ships, before I forget, I want to quickly point out, okay, Haru and Yuki. Haru and Yuki are possibly my new favorite ship. I fully abandoned. I still low-key ship Yuki and Toru, but I mostly high-key ship Yuki and Haru, and high-key ship Toru and Kyo. The way Haru like grabs Yuki's, like the way he grabs Yuki's school uniform every time, it's so adorable. The way he's like, yeah, what's up? Like, I'm listening. Like, everything okay? He's so protective, and Yuki like not apologizing, but thanking Haru, like, hey man, I appreciate you doing what you did, and also the fact that Yuki, I would die for Yuki, like straight up. Just these little character beats for him. Like, he's constantly growing. He still has these little falls, right? Like, we've seen episodes where he kind of falls back into like old Yuki, but he's like being around Toru is really growing him as a person. Like, he already wants to see the better parts of his brother, and he's like talking to Haru and thanking Haru. I'm sure he would have done that regardless, but it's just like, you see, like Haru, you guys already know I like Haru. And again, if we reach 10K by the end of the year, I will dye my hair like Haru. Hatsuharu is my boy. But Yuki, I don't know, just the characters in this show always will forever like just blow my mind how well they've developed over what feels like such a small amount of time, and feels like we still have so much to go, because I think they're getting like what was it, like 50 episodes, 60 episodes, and we're only on episode 13 and I'm already this attached? Man, this is gonna be a good ride. I don't know, this episode, as simple on the surface as it was, it's just another, it just reminded me, like, man, I really love this show. And it's fun getting to be like an anime only watching this, because I'll say something, right, and in the back of my head I'm like, I can't wait to see what everybody in the comments is gonna say, because everyone's been so friggin' sweet and so good about spoilers. Everybody's barely, I don't think I've even really seen a spoiler since I started reviewing this, and everybody's been so good and so supportive, and it's just, I don't know, I'm feeling emotional, I guess. Anyway, I would happily give this episode B+, solid B+. Strong B+, light A-, but yeah, I'll go with a B+ for now. But yeah, those are my thoughts. With that said though, everybody, I'm gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for checking it out, and if you enjoyed today's video, then by all means hitting that like button, sharing the video around on the internet, well, that would be super rad of you. And if you're new to the channel and you'd like to stick around, maybe check out some more videos from me, then by all means hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join the good ones. And as always, before we go, I have to give a big shout out to the good folks over on Patreon, namely those in the Earl Grey tier: Dominic, Urza, No For Nothing, Maria Teresa, Omner Garamond, Opinionated Slime, Shadow Creative, Sipco Games, Tristan, and Veridin. Thank you all so much for your continued support. If you too would like to help me make this channel into something that can sustain me, then go ahead and check out the Patreon, link in the description. It would be super appreciated. And with that said, until our next meeting, you stay rad and don't scary.